5 generations of the Charles M. Binkley family have been operating stern wheel riverboats in the north for the past 117 years without missing a year. Charlie was 19 when he got here, and now his great-grandchildren run the business on a day-to-day basis, and you're going to meet one of them in just a minute. They dig with hand tools for a lot of years, but then in the 20s they built pump houses and learned to use water. Ago, that was your freezer. Yeah, Dad brought the moose home and hung him a hot roast. How about that? What you couldn't kill or you couldn't grow, you went without, because when this river froze, the store closed. These people were cut off, literally. Nobody heard from them for 7 months. And today, we just go to Fred Meyer if we can't get our moose. Oh, and look at this cabin over here. This fella flew the world for 38 years for 2 major airlines. There he is having his coffee, Captain Christensen. And he the toys.
You know, we're out having a lot of fun too, because of course when you see we've got the youngest members of Trailbreaker Kennel and some of the older members of Trailbreaker Kennel. Hey, every day's a great day.
Well, now these guys are about 14 weeks, I think, if memory serves, which it seldom does. So when they were born, you were actually holding them in your hands minutes after they came into the world, weren't you?
You know, we really, yes, the answer is yes. We really do like to start a relationship with the puppies as soon as we can. You know, when we have them following us, it's a great opportunity for us to help them develop self-confidence, which we do by asking them to overcome obstacles. Now, the first thing when they're little bitty guys like this, we ask them to go across these logs, and confidence is very high. They don't mind jumping on the docks or into the boats or over this, you know, and so they're ready to actually start learning skills. But we can't teach them skills alone. We also need help, and the help comes from the team, and that's what you're seeing here, is that desire and joy to get going and working with their partners. But because it supplies so much power, I've made a few modifications to this four-wheeler, which I use in the summertime instead of the sled. Now, the first thing I've done is I've removed the engine. You guys might be able to see my hand going through there. I have nothing there to help me go forward except dog power. Number 2, I've reinforced these brakes because I want to make sure that I'm able to control them on the corners. That if I wasn't tied off to this rope that is holding me securely in place, I'd be out to get her ready. So I'm going to take off as soon as we get this one dog in line, and I'll tell you about it on the way out there.
Okay, hang on tight. You just said all right. Now it's quiet. Look at him dig. Look at those guys go. What a great run down there from where you are. But if you lose sight at all, when he starts talking on the far side, depend on the video, because Robert
did a fabulous job. And so after every run, what you want the dogs to understand is how much you appreciate their hard work. So every dog always gets a pat on the head. And then as you
imagine that the questions occur to our folks, and so can we talk dogs later at Chena Village, possibly?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to come down. I'm going to be.
They do fine. In fact, the word caribou literally means deer who shovels, or deer who paws the ground. The Micmac people of New England and Nova Scotia named these creatures many years ago. And those feet are great snowshoes. They can actually spread their toes out and get more surface area up on the snow so they don't punch.
West Alaska along the Kuskokwim River. And my great auntie still has a fish camp there. It looks very similar to what you can see here on shore today.
Well, now, of course, we're from out of town. You're going to have to help us out. But what are the functions of the various structures?
Well, everything that you can see here is very typical of a fish camp found in this part of Alaska. If you take a look in front of you in the water, you can see a fish field. These are blades that are still connected at the tail. We don't like to waste anything, so the next thing we do is cut the backbone away. And because this is a chunk salmon, we'll feed the extra pieces to the dogs. We'll just boil them up at fish camp. But if that was a higher quality salmon, like a king or a sockeye, we would cut off the head, and that's used to make fish head soup, which is a delicacy in our culture, so we serve it to our elders.
Really? You would do that for us elders? If we came to see you at fish camp, we'd sit down to a steaming bowl of fish head soup. Now, what does that taste like?
I don't know. I'm not old enough.
Thank you very much, Haley.
Koyana, thank you.
All right, and I think...
Mushing kennels that are in Alaska are recreational kennels. There are a lot of racing kennels, but the racing kennels are outnumbered by the number of rec kennels. And a lot of the racing dogs that don't make a race team go to recreational kennels.